Todd, welcome to Tech Talk for Business Leaders. I'm excited to have you. Could you introduce yourself for the benefit of our audience?
Sure. Thanks, Sam, and thanks for having me today. I'm looking forward to the conversation. So I lead our tech consulting business for KPMG in the U.S. So I focus on working with clients across various technologies through the selection and implementation of everything from ERP systems to data and analytics and cloud architectures. More and more, I'm spending a lot of my time on the impacts, the business impacts of artificial intelligence, both from a business strategy all the way through the data layers and the technical implementation. So,
one of the most widely read newsletters was on how generative AI is being used to improve productivity in the software development lifecycle. Could you share what you're seeing with clients and what KPMG is doing to help clients on this journey?
It's really changing, what software engineers are doing. It's not necessarily replacing them, but it's certainly augmenting them, letting them auto-generate a lot of the, the more basic code or the things that weren't as interesting and focusing on, more eloquent aspects of code or more nuances, right? So if you have, so many hours in a week, it's actually, I think it's a good parallel for how you should think about AI in other parts of your workforce. I think more of the clients that I'm interacting with are looking at it as a way to, use that productivity and invest in more better employee productivity, better customer centricity, right? Like really looking at kind of the end aspect of it, whether it's an employee application or a customer application, and really figuring out how to drive more value to the end client. Longer term, it's going to let you create much more code such that the specialization of, things where you build a system for, 1,000 users, for example, right? You couldn't make so many variations because of the time and effort to do that. But when code is becoming more automated, you're going to have much more specialization.
I mean, there's a startup a day that actually has something to offer in this space. How should a business organization think about, making decisions that, one, are in play for the longer term, generating value, not locking them in? How should the leadership at our client organizations think about the ecosystem of partners and how they would engage with them?
One of the things I always share with them, even if you do nothing out of this conversation, you're still going to adopt Gen AI. The reason being is, most large, if not all organizations, have a level of SaaS applications that you reference, Sam. So they all own licenses for CRM, ERP, right? All of the different areas of how you run a business. All of those providers have a roadmap that is enabling it with Gen AI, either on the configuration, how to make it, more customizable to your business, to, providing agent support throughout the process, right? Through actually automation of some of the processes that are kind of embedded within those workflows. So that is where I think organizations are trying to understand, but that also comes at a cost, right? So, and it's also going to be an interesting experience where, I always use the example of, in my home life, I sometimes get confused, between asking Siri, okay, Google, and Alexa, right? And I call them the wrong name because I'm in the wrong part of the house and I have the different device, right? I think employees are going to have the same kind of challenges as organizations start adopting AI through and the support through all of those different tools, right? I mean, Sam, you and I work for KPMG. We go through a number of those different applications each day. Having your own assistant or AI version within there is going to create an interesting experience, right? Let alone the conversation I have with a lot of CIOs and CTOs is, okay, but at what cost, right? Because these are all 20, 30, name the pricing, right? It's going to be an additive cost to the SaaS subscription that you already have. And I think organizations are starting to say, okay, where am I going to invest? What segments of my workforce need these versus who doesn't? Do I turn it on for some, but not all? Like, how do I think about the value creation that I'm creating within that ecosystem? The second part of this is really then, there's I would say kind of the cloud ecosystem hyperscaler environment that most organizations are taking part of today. I think there'll be a lot of adoption for some of the general API calls of the large language models through your existing hyperscaler and or cloud. And then I think the third leg is, to your point, and this is probably the most complex for organizations to navigate, is the 10 startups that are kind of coming online every day for very specific use cases by industry, by function, right? An agent to do the automation of everything. You're going to see a plethora of those coming to the market. You're also going to see a lot of consolidation of those capabilities over time. How do you get started? How do you navigate? It's don't start with your AI strategy, start with your corporate strategy, right? Yeah. So think about where are you thinking, but relook at your corporate strategy in terms of a world of fast-moving generative AI, and really pressure test yourself like on, barriers to entry, vertical integration, right? Like, how should I be thinking about my fundamental business model, customer segmentation, moving up market, down market? How do I think about, kind of that in a very different lens, the value I create for my customer, and then work backwards to, how do you actually get to that in a world that is fueled by generative AI, and how do I make those investments? And I think you'll see a lot of, for more commoditized parts of your business that are not part of your, kind of secret sauce, so to speak.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for your time today. And if you haven't already subscribed to it, please do subscribe to Tech Talk for Business Leaders. We'll keep bringing insights to you and sharing what we know. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.